If your offer isn't landing, it's not because people don't need what you do right now. It's likely because they don't feel like what you sell is a thing that's going to change everything for them. Power buyers out there are not buying coaching or consulting, they're buying a new reality. And if your message doesn't sell that vision, they're going to be gone. So today, I'm going to break down for you the 3 silent reasons your offer isn't really converting, what power buyers are actually looking for, and basically how to shift your message so that it instantly creates more desire. So let's dive in. Let's make this happen. Have you ever put out an offer out there that you knew was really valuable, but it did not get the response that you actually expected? I'm going to tell you really like what are the likely reasons why this is ultimately happening for you right now. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making out there is that they really talk a lot about the features, the modules, the coaching calls, the frameworks. In other words, you're selling the entire process much more than you are selling the promise. If you're talking about all the things that your audience are going to get or clients are going to get when they buy, like the calls or access to the program or whatever it may be, but you're not really talking about the outcome and painting a very clear picture on what their life is going to look like as a result of the process that you're going to take them through, it's going to be really, really hard for your audience to see why this is the thing that they need to have right now. Another very common issue that I see out there is people creating messaging that tends to sound extremely vague or generic. Like this is unfortunately more common than you think, right? Saying things like, I'm going to help you transform your life or build your dream business. And honestly, that doesn't really mean anything. If your audience doesn't feel like what you're selling is specifically created for them, their specific problem, their specific situation, you're not giving them a reason to actually buy from you right now. And the third most common issue that I see happening in terms of you presenting your offer is you not doing a good job around creating more demand. You're maybe focused more on urgency or fake urgency, but not really demand. So if your content is just valuable, it's not really going to activate people and get them to want more, right? And I see so many experts create these like beautiful educational content that gets maybe a lot of engagement, but it doesn't translate to sales. And that's very likely because it's valuable, but not activating. It's not creating that sense of demand. Power buyers move when they see themselves in the message and they can sense why staying in the place that they are right now is not going to work for them anymore. So you have to make it really clear why this is the thing that they need to focus on solving this very minute versus just talking about how it's urgent and they need to get in before the doors close or the price goes up or whatever fake manipulative sometimes strategy that you're using to try to sell. It really is ultimately about speaking to the inherent urgency that your audience already has and making them understand why they need to take action right now. So that takes me to really understanding what actually does get your power buyer to buy right now, right? Ultimately, what your audience wants is clarity. Can you show them the real problem that they're facing right now? Not just the surface level symptoms or the problems, but the underlying cause behind everything that is going on. When a power buyer feels like you understand their situation better than they do themselves, they immediately lean in. They want confidence. Do they trust that you can guide them to the solution? This isn't just about how many credentials you have or how many testimonials you have on your sales page. It's about how you show up in your content, in your message, in your presence as a brand everywhere. Do you speak with certainty? Do you have a very clear and distinct point of view? Are you challenging conventional wisdom? These are all signals that build confidence in your solution, in your expertise, in what you're doing. Power buyers are drawn to people that lead with conviction, not because they're loud or they're pushy, but because they're clear, they're certain. Ultimately, your audience isn't buying coaching or consulting, they're buying identity alignment. So, what that means is that they're not just investing in a process or even an outcome, they're investing on who they get to become as a result of this process. So, what future version of themselves are you actually helping them step into right now as they go through your program? So, you want to make sure that you incorporate that into your message. Now, let's talk about how to actually fix all of these things to make your offer irresistible and to make it land for your power buyers. First, you need to refine your transformation. Get ultra specific about the before and the after. Don't just say, oh, you're going to feel better or your business is going to grow. Say, you're going to go from feeling perpetually behind and wondering if you made the wrong career choice to starting each morning with clarity, with purpose, and the confidence that you're exactly where you need to be right now. So, what that means is that you end up anchoring in the emotional as well as the tangible shifts that your audience is going to make as a result of the work. It's not just about what they're going to achieve, but it's also about what they're going to ultimately feel. So, for example, a fitness coach that I work with stopped talking about losing weight and started talking about walking into a room, feeling confident in your own skin for the first time in years, like feeling so like you're rocking the clothes that you're wearing. The tangible outcome was the same, but the emotional transformation is what ended up selling it to their audience, right? The next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're communicating your angle of mastery. What is that unique lens that only you can deliver that is reframing both the problem and the solution? This is where your personal experience, your method, your perspective, your wisdom, all of that comes together in a way that is really unique. You want to make sure that you're bringing that into every single touch point that your audience has with you. And with that, you're actually pre-selling them and shifting their beliefs through your content. Ultimately, your content should be changing how they view their situation right now. So by the time that they get to the offer, it feels very naturally like the antidote to the problem that they have. Don't wait until the sales page or don't wait until the sales call to introduce a new perspective because the objection is just going to be bigger. Your content should be shifting beliefs all along the way. So, for example, if you are a relationship coach who believes that most relationships problems stem from unclear boundaries, your content needs to speak about that and show examples of that pattern showing up again and again. So by the time that somebody sees your offer, they should already be thinking, this makes a lot of sense. I can see specifically how this applies to my situation. Ultimately, what this does is it leads you to build more demand, not just awareness, right? Demand comes from positioning yourself as the only solution, not just as another solution. So this isn't about claiming to be the absolute best. It's about being so specific and clear in your approach that you end up becoming the obvious choice for your power buyers, for your ideal clients. All of this to say that if your offer isn't landing, it's not because of the price, it's not because of your audience, or definitely not because of the algorithm. It's very likely because you have not positioned the offer as that inevitable next step, as the need to have, essentially. The truth is that power buyers move fast, but only when they see something that really reflects their future. If your message doesn't do that, it doesn't matter how good the message is. So if you want to know if your offer is positioned to attract power buyers, if it could land in a clear way, let's hop on a quick 15-minute brand message assessment where I'm going to give you personalized feedback on exactly what you need to shift in how you're presenting your offer to make sure that you're speaking to power buyers and building demand. Go to brandmessagesession.com right now to book the call. You can also find that below, and go to readytoinvestclients.com for a quick 20-minute training on how to speak to ready to invest power buyer clients. Make sure that you subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and follow me everywhere at Fabi Paolini. And let me know in the comments, which of these elements do you feel are missing from your offer? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you soon.